Good day, everyone. My name is Justin Carosol, and I'm from Bsmt 3B. My reporting today is all about what is virtue. A virtue is a moral excellence. A virtue is a trait of quality that deemed to be moral, good, and thus is a value as a foundation of principle of a good moral being. In other words, it is a behavior that show high moral standard, doing what is right and avoiding what is wrong. And the next one is, what is ethics? Ethics or moral philosophy is a branch of philosophy that involves systemizing, defending, and recommending concept of right and wrong behavior. The field of ethics, along with aesthetic concern matters of value. This is field comprise that branch of philosophy called exology.
Good evening everyone, I'm Karitin Julaingo, Bsmt 3B. I live in Malusato, Negros Oriental. What is virtue ethics? Virtue ethics is a philosophy developed by Aristotle and other ancient Greek. It is the quest to understand and live a life of normal character. This character-based approach to morality assumes that we acquire virtue through practice. This is not to say that only virtue ethics attend to virtues any more than it is to say that only consequentialism attend to consequence or only deontologies to rules. Each of the above mentioned approaches can make room for virtues, consequences, and rules. Indeed, any possible normative ethical theory will have something to say about all three. Rather, virtues and vice will be foundational for virtue ethical theories, and other normative nations will be grounded in them.
Good day, sir. I am Cadet Jason M. Magtahas, BSMT3B, student from VITIC. I am here to report on the two categories of virtue ethics. To start, the two categories of virtue ethics are intellectual and moral virtues. The first category talks about intellectual virtues. Intellectual virtues are the virtues of the mind, such as the ability to understand, reason, and make sound judgment. Intellectual virtues may be taught like logic and mathematics by teacher. The second category is moral virtues. Moral virtues are not innate, rather they are acquired through repetition and practice. Like learning a musical instrument, it is through this practice and the doing that one becomes a type of persons over a period of time. Virtues becomes second natures. And that's all. Thank you.
Hi sir, good morning. By the way, my name is Jomar Garcia Milicio from BSMT 3B student, and today I'm going to report some part of our certain topic which is all about virtue ethics. So what are the 7 capital virtue ethics? So we have number 1, chastity, also known as purity, is a virtue related to temperance, someone who is chaste either from sexual activity according to their state of life. Next, we have temperance. So temperance is another our control. So it is generally characterized as a control over excess. If you know how to control the situation, if you have that open-minded, you can control yourself whatever anger you have, whatever the situation, because you know how to put yourself in a situation. So that is temperance. Next, we have charity. Okay, the practice of charity is the voluntary giving of help to those in need, because I believe that the more you give, the more you have. So number 4, we have diligence. It's an important aspect of personal as well as professional life. So it helps us to achieving goals and leaves an impressive impressions on others. So we have number 5, kindness. So a type of behavior marked by acts of generosity, consideration, or concern for others. So being kind is very important because everyone is deserved to treated respectedly, and we have that right also. So it's our nature to be kind. So because we are human and we are Filipino, so it's very important for us to show everybody's concerns, to show us concern in everything happens in our life or in our surrounding. Next, we have number 6, patience. So it teaches us to value the efforts and not just the success. So patience is very important, especially as we are students, we are graduating students right now. So patient, it takes time. I know it takes time, but it's very important to wait, because good things come to those who wait. Next, we have number 7, humility. It is the quality of being humble. So meaning to say, we have to stay humble despite or especially when you are achieving goals. We have a lot of achievements, but still we need to remain humble. Okay, the modern theologian James Cannon suggests that justice requires us to treat all human beings equally and impartially. So we all deserve and we have the right to live equally. So next is fidelity requires that we treat people closer to us. Next, we have self-care, a unique responsibility to care for ourselves effectively, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So it's our responsibility to care ourselves because, we are the one who are control of it and we are the captain. And don't let anyone else to control your life because you have your own choice of life. So we have prudence. So the prudent person must look for opportunity to acquire more of the other three virtues. Okay, thank you, sir, and that's all of my report.
My assigned topic was all about what is the importance of virtue ethics and what does virtue ethics teach us. First is, what is the importance of virtue ethics? Virtue ethics help us understand what it means to be a virtue human being, and it gives us giving us specific roles for resolving it. This is beneficial because although a person may have committed a bad act, it does not necessarily mean that the person is a bad person. The act may have been consequence of ethical thinking and do lead to a better outcomes. Virtue ethics focuses on the moral character of an individual. It is said that by practicing virtuousness one can be achieved a right and human excellence and eudaimonia, or true human flourishing. Virtue ethics teaches. First is, an action is only right if it is an action that a virtuous person would carry out in the same circumstances. Second is, a virtuous person is a person who acts virtuously. Third is, a person acts virtuously if they possess and live virtues. Fourth is, a virtue is a moral characteristic that a person need to live well.
Good morning, everyone. I am Cadet Bukan Wilson Jr. I am 21 years old, and I'm going to report the topic all about the bad points and the good points of virtue. There are the following points of being a good virtue ethics. These virtue ethics help us understand what it means to be a virtuous human being, and it gives us a guide for living life without giving us specific rules for resolving ethical dilemmas. The good points of virtue ethics. Number one, it centers ethics on the person and what it means to be a human. Which it means ethics is at the center of being human. It shows moral values and principles through our actions such as a human being. Number two, it includes the whole of person's life. Yes, it includes the whole of a person's life because every day in our lives, sa atong gipinikita nga values sa mga tao, it shows ethics and it shows and reflect kung unsa ta nga pagkatao. That's all about the good points of virtue ethics. On the other hand, there are some bad points of virtue ethics. Number one, we used to find how to do a good person without finding the solution kung unsa nato pagsulbad ang mga dilema nga moabot sa ato. It matter on how we respond, on how we value our speech, if there is still morality, if times of dilemma. Number two, it must be known if what is the right thing to do. A right act is action a virtuous person would do in some circumstances. Number three, if walay agreement nga guide kung unsaon nga ang virtues and nga mo fit and so meaning dili magkasinabot o importante nga na-adjoy agreement especially sa atong culture kay knowing that we have different culture and we should have moral ethics on it.
Good morning, sir. I'm Cadet Jerome Timargol, a third-year student in BITIC Tagbilaran. I'm going to report why is virtue ethics important in an organization. Virtue ethics emphasize the process of individual moral character development. Virtue theory helps to develop principles, tactics, and procedures of business. Virtues can play a big role in. However, acting virtuously does not always result in high profit because there are also many factors in business life. To accomplish success, there needs to be number of goals within a business. Each and every goal should be analyzed to be determine the potential impact on firm. Virtuous manager need to be energetic, productive workers who focus on reality. They need to act objectively, rationally, and logically. Their communication skills needs to be improved to have a good relation with employees and customers. Why is virtue ethics important? Virtue ethics is based on on a positive view of human nature, one that takes into account that humans are strongly predisposed to a recognize excellence in others whom they can take as role models, and b gain fulfillment from a life lived virtuously, or eudaimonia.